Hey guys, it's Steve from No Boundaries Outdoors, and today I want to talk to you about basically an overview, if you will, or if you want to call it a mini review, you can call it that. For those that don't know, recently I went out and upgraded my bow. I was shooting a Hoyt Carbon Spider Turbo ZT. It's about 3 years old, so it was still fairly new. It was shooting really good. I didn't really have any issues with it, killed a lot of deer. But when I went to ATA back in January, I went to the Mathews booth and I was talking to one of the reps there, and they showed me the Triax. And I immediately fell in love with this bow. It was something that I did a lot of research on when I got back. I went to my local bow shop right after I got back and said, I know you're gonna think this is funny, I've been shooting Hoyt ever since I started shooting, but I really want to shoot the Mathews Triax, and I think I'm gonna buy it today. And so they took me back and I shot it, and immediately it was just dead in the hand. I mean, not to sound cliche from everybody else's review, but I mean, honestly it was. And so that's what I ended up picking up. I picked up the Mathews Triax. I got it in the Lost Camo XD. It's a sweet bow. And this is something, it's, 28-inch axle to axle. A lot of people were a little worried about it and said, this is going to be a tough bow to shoot. But honestly, this has been something that has been a pleasure to shoot. I've had my scores go higher shooting 3D. One of the biggest things once you get a new bow is outfitting it, right? What are you going to put on it? I pretty much left this just the way I bought it, with the exception of the brand new string that was just put on because I had a rip up near the peep sight. And so I stayed with the Lost Camo colors of like the tan and the green on the outside string that also goes with my sling, which is the same colors that I did my other bow in orange with the camo. I did all orange accents and it was great, but I kind of wanted to stick with just the traditional colors here with this. I also outfitted it with, and that's courtesy of one of our sponsors, Apex Gear Partners, the Covert Pro, which is a single, I guess it's technically a 2-pin sight. It's got the center, which is 20, and you guys can't see me if I turn this on. Maybe you can see it. I don't think you can see it on the camera, but it's got the center pin, which is 20, and also the one where you can dial it out. It's going to be incremented. And then there's a bottom pin, which will automatically jump you to 50 yards. So I got that. I also have the Ripcord Ace Arrow rest. Great. I love Ripcord. I went out and bought a new one right after I got this bow. I still have it on my Hoyt, and I love it. This is where the problem came in. So with the Triax, everybody, I read online, people were like, well, you really don't need a stabilizer, you don't really need, this and that. It's already dead quiet, it's dead in the hand. And I just didn't know what to do. So I did what anybody else would do. On my other bow, on the Hoyt, I have a bee stinger. Now, it doesn't have the label on it. The stickers, this is the Lost Camo, the stickers kind of fell off. But this here is an 8-inch stabilizer. It's fairly light, the shaft, but the end of it with the weights on it, the 2-ounce weights, it's heavy. I have the third weight. It comes with 3 ounces. It's a good stabilizer. I used it, like I said, on the other bow. I just wasn't satisfied with it. I didn't like the way. Again, it has to look good, but not just perform good, and that's something that I take serious. I know some of you hardcore hunters are out there. I don't care what it looks like as long as it does its job, and I agree. But I'm also one of those people that it has to look good too. So I went out and I splurged and I bought the Mathews Flatline Stabilizer in the Lost Camo, which has their EHS dampening technology, which is supposed to deaden the shock of the bow. And the bow's already dead to begin with, but it also has that EHS technology in it. It has a 1-ounce weight. This is the 6-inch model, and $140, a real high price tag. And I was like not satisfied with it, because With this, outside, it was great. Shooting 3D indoors with it, I was accurate. The 6-inch, I tended to, when I got fatigued, I would be all over the place with it. It wouldn't hold steady. I couldn't lock it in after I started getting fatigued. I'm like, there's got to be something else. So I started looking around, and a friend of mine, Kurt Thomas, he was talking to me about, he was looking to get a Triax, and he uses a stabilizer by a company called Tap. And if you look, that's currently the stabilizer that I have on there. Now I've got a black finish, and I just put on the 2 ounces of weight on the end here. And this is an 8-inch model. This is the Element X. This retails for about $89.99. And it's made of titanium. It's 5/8 diameter. So it's one of the thinnest on the market right now. And it weighs about 5.4 ounces before you add that extra ounce. So it's probably, right now, it's about 6.4. And when I originally got it, I was a bit skeptical. I'll just be honest. I was skeptical because it just felt like the weight was evenly distributed. And anybody that knows how a stabilizer works, that usually you put the weight out on the end, kind of like what Bee Stinger does. So I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. It only had 1 ounce of weight. So I was shooting indoors. I was shooting with it. Oh, man, I was tightening up my groups. I was in love with this stabilizer. And then I was talking to my bow tech, and he says, the best way to test a stabilizer is go out into the elements. Don't just stay inside, like go out. So I decided to go out on the windiest day there was. I think we were getting gusts of 40 miles an hour. We had some that were 20 miles an hour. So I'm out there and I'm shooting. And I'll tell you what, that's a great way to find out what stabilizer is going to work for you. This stabilizer, the Mathews Flatline, for the most part, if I held that bow, I didn't get blown around with the wind as much. Now, when I'm at full draw and I'd be holding it, I'd get a lot more circles because it's obviously it's windy. So I took that stabilizer off and I put on the Bee Stinger. I was actually very surprised at the results that I had with this. So at full draw, it felt like, the best way I could say this is if you put an apple on the end of a stick and you hung it off the end of your bow, anytime a wind gust would come, it would just like grab a hold of this heavy piece at the end and just blow it. Like, I had such a hard time trying to control it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try the Tap. I'm going to put the Tap on the bow, and let's see what that does. So I pulled back, wind gust came, and surprisingly, it cut through the wind very well. The problem that I had with it was calming it down and calming my pin down. Now, obviously, you're going to have some circles to your pin, but the hardest part was calming it down. And I called up. Actually, I didn't call. I texted him. He had texted me and asked how I was doing with it, and I told him, well, I'll be honest, I ran into some problems. At the wind, it just seems like it needs more weight. And he says, well, we do offer some additional weights. I do have them on the website. And I said, all right. So I ordered 2 extra ounces because I didn't know. I started with 3 ounces with Bee Stinger, but every stabilizer is different. And so I was like, okay. I ordered 2 of them. They arrived. I put 2 ounces on because that's what I settled on with the Bee Stinger. And I was amazed. That, to me, now I'm not going to say that across the board with the Triax, that is the magic number of 2 ounces. So let me put that out there. For my style, for how I shoot, for my setup, 2 ounces was perfect. I can hold that, and it's like, this already has a great back wall. And to be able to hold that, and that pin with very minimal movement in it, I was blown away at the groups that I was shooting yesterday after we got the string put on. Very close to smack. I literally had to move my arrows because I thought I was going to smack my arrows, and I didn't want to do that. I had them to where they were all touching, even at 20 yards. Now, this is going to be a progressive video, and what I mean by that is I'm giving you a brief overview of the setup because what I want to do is I want to film this out there for you guys to see. I'm going to put a GoPro or something on my head so you guys can kind of see when I use the different stabilizers, how they perform. And one of the tests I'd like to do is, somebody could blindfold me and we're going to put these stabilizers on, and I'm going to shoot, and we're going to see the differences between the groupings, and also, obviously we'll do it like at 20 yards or something, just that muscle memory, just to see, if I can tell once I'm blindfolded which stabilizer I'm using. This way, because it has a feel to it, it just feels like when a glove fits. That's kind of where this is at right now. So, I'm not telling you that to go out and take my word for it, go out and spend all your money and try all these different stabilizers. I'm doing this because, I want to, and part of it is the learning process of finding which stabilizer works best for what bow. But you need to go over to Titanium Archery Products, and I think it's titaniumarcheryproducts.com. Sam is a great guy. He's based here in Pennsylvania, in York, PA. Manufactures these himself. He's got a bunch of different options. If you guys are a Tacticam user, he also has an attachment that helps stabilize that Tacticam stabilizer attachment. He also has a quick disconnect, which I'm very interested in checking out. Hopefully, maybe we'll get him to send that out to me. We can show that on video. But quick disconnects are awesome, and one of the specialties with his quick disconnect is that you don't have to turn it as far. Now, I know the one I have on my Hoyt, I really got to turn it in order to get it off. So this was something that I thought was really, really cool. So that's something I'm looking at getting. Also, he has some string stops. Now, he did send me a string stop. I don't currently have it on the bow right now. With the issues that I had with my string, I wanted to make sure everything was dialed in with the factory components before I went to that. But that'll be coming soon. I'm going to be getting that on the bow and having you guys take a look at it. Apparently, the way the design is, it shifts the way the string hits, so it deflects not only the force, but it deflects the sound. So you're not getting that necessarily the loud sound that you would normally get. So it definitely, the way it's marketed, it's going to quiet your bow. So we want to do some shots with the stock one and do it with that, so we can tell the difference. So this video is more of not a lot of camera shots. It's kind of me talking to you guys of where we're at with this, because this is the hardest thing. Everybody wants to take everybody's word for it with this, and I can tell you right now, if you had to ask me which stabilizer I was going to choose between the Tap, the Bee Stinger, or the Mathews Flatline, I'm going to tell you I'm going to go with the Tap, only because it outperformed based on the last couple weeks of me testing it compared to the Flatline and the Bee Stinger. Some of you guys are going to be like, well, you don't need tight groups when you're going to hunt. Your Flatline 6-inch should be fine. But all the research that I've done, a 6-inch stabilizer, through all the tests that some of the professionals have done, really doesn't do much. It's just kind of there for aesthetic purposes. If you really want to see difference in stabilization and pin float, you want to go with an 8 or 12-inch stabilizer. And so that's why I've gone with the 8-inch. I have the 8-inch on my Hoyt, and I have now the 8-inch on my Triax. And some of the folks were telling me, they're like, well, you're putting an 8-inch on an already small Triax. The whole point of the Triax is to be compact and to get in and out of the stand without all that extra stuff on it. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But you also need the stabilization to have the best shot possible. And Sam over at Tap has even kind of turned me on to, I know they've got a bunch of different products that are in the works, but I started talking to him about, I seen a lot of bows with the side stabilizer. He said, well, man, you just really don't know how much that even adds to a hunting bow. So I don't know, man, there's a lot of options out there, but I think you need to go over and check out Tap Titanium Archery Products. Go like them on Facebook. Tell them I sent you. I really don't think you'll be disappointed with this stabilizer. Like I said, I'm being completely honest with you. In the beginning, I was a little skeptical, Sam will tell you. But after getting this weight, he rushed it out to me. I got it put on the bow. Unbelievable. And I'm actually going out tomorrow night to shoot some 3D. So we're going to see a lot more videos from us here at No Boundaries Outdoors. I know a lot of my guys are wanting to get this stabilizer. you're going to see a lot of different videos from us about the tap stabilizer. And I know this is a little long with the story and everything, but he also has other camo patterns that are not traditional camo patterns, mind you, like Realtree.net. You can check out his website. He also has different colors that you can get. I have the black. I think it goes better with the camo because a lot of the other components I have in addition to it are black. But honestly, I'm leaving it on. It's the stabilizer that I'm choosing and I'm going to shoot with. I'm going to hunt with this year. Turkey's coming up, so go check it out. And I'll give you some more videos here in the future when it warms up with some other tests that I've done out in the field with this stabilizer. And you know, we always try to bring you the best gear that we find and the best possible components that you can add to your bow. Go check out Titanium Archery products. You won't be disappointed. Guys, stay tuned and subscribe to us. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram, or maybe it's the other way around. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Anyways, you can go to NoBoundariesOutdoors.com for all the latest and greatest videos and everything that there is to know about what we do. And we'll see you next time.